Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nightsky Sanctum, episode 16. We are excited to have you all here. It is Anya's birthday, Hollis, our player of Hollis. So we're all very, very excited about that. But let's go around the room and introduce ourselves to everyone, starting with Lilith.
Hi, screen name's Lilith. I play Seth, a narrate shapeshifter, so they're a fish person desperately trying to not look like a fish person.
Not doing a very good job of that.
Morningstar.
Hello, darlings. I am the marvelous Morningstar, and I play Elise Montor, our megalomaniac psyche, who basically will fall and but you once if help her climb up the ladder.
And Anya.
I'm Anya. I play Hollis. She is a gob baba. She is very curious. She loves death, the dying, and anything the underworld.
Absolutely. And I'm Gavin, the GM. Anya and I are the co-authors of Children of Midnight Coven, the game we're playing tonight, and we are Nightsky Sanctum. Tonight, the crew is going after a straggler from the Forsaken Saints who wronged them severely in the past and needs to be taken care of. So they'll be using their own wiles and methods to figure out how to do just that.
I must admit, I believe we've already inflicted wounds 3 or 4-fold. But no harm in going further.
Yeah, in previous episodes, they took on the Forsaken Saints at one of their training camps, and in the process of burning the school building that they were using as a training camp down, they were able to I'm trying to think of a nice way to say murder. The Mother Superior, but 2 of her lackeys, her armorer and her training coordinator, both got away. They've already taken care of the armorer, the Bear Butcher, as he was called. But Trinity is still in need of apprehension. There is an echo.
Yes, there is.
Let me put on my handy dandy earphones. Testing, testing. One sec. Hi, it's Miss Rains. Well, why don't the 3 of you talk amongst yourselves about how you might want to go about this while I try to handle the audio issue.
Very practical. Well, I suppose first and foremost we'll have to get the lay of wherever she's hiding. Do we know where she's hiding?
I don't think we know specifically where she's hiding now.
She's a sape. She can't hide that well. I'm sure we could find out. I'm assuming she would be present at any other training facilities.
That's definitely something you could look into.
Maybe we could use some of the weapons that we brought back with us to see if we can find her ritually with our what do you call it? Yeah, daglock.
I still have wallets and photos of Forsaken Saints. We think that might be useful in my assets.
Mm.
All right, I might have to wear these cans.
Yes, I was attempting to use earbuds for this, but I had similar issues. Oh well. The headphones fluff up my hair nicely.
One sec, I think I have an idea about what might be the reason I'm hearing my voice. Because it's really putting me off.
I'm using the I can't hear the echo. Of
Yeah,
course
it's
I'm
gone for me now.
Okay. All right. So yeah, the idea about the right of the daglock is definitely a possibility.
And it's certainly the safest option to start with.
Yeah.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Do we still... Yep, I can hear you. Do we still have points available for... sorry, like our patron gift? To find something hidden.
Well, we
Yeah, we
didn't
should.
use it. Yeah, so.
Just didn't know if we didn't tick them off or not.
I don't think so. I haven't ticked anybody off, so we should be free to use those points.
We haven't been destroying knowledge.
No, not destroying knowledge, for sure. So I think doing something like the right of the daglock, since you don't have any specific items that you know belonged to Trinity, that might be somewhat difficult. But if you use a mixture of psychometry and the right of the daglock, you might be able to narrow it down.
That's a good start. Shall we attempt psychometry first?
Sure. I'm just referring to my sheet really quick. That's one essence. And that's an insight roll?
It's an action of your choosing.
Okay.
So whatever would be appropriate in the fiction. Aren't you looking over like a large number of items.
Mm-hmm.
So generally, something like survey would make some sense for that.
Okay.
But if you wanted to like study them methodically, that could work too. Just however you want to describe it in the fiction.
I have more points in study, so I would like to rationalize it. I am poring over each piece individually, trying to see if there's anything I can glean from any individual piece that's more prominent to reaching her.
Okay. So maybe this looks like you're staying up all night and working on it for many hours.
Pounding back all the iced coffee.
Is anybody else helping out with that? Or any of the NPC contacts?
I already rolled at a complete success, so.
Oh, fantastic. You do it all by yourself.
Well, it was Ribbert.
I pulled an all-nighter and got it done.
Yeah. So, maybe this happened, sort of in the middle of a lot of other things, and maybe you've been sitting on this piece of information that you have a really strong idea of where Trinity is. Here's what I'm thinking. You're seeing a lot of people that are moving, that are spending a lot of their time in that training facility that you all arsoned, and but
Which
there
one?
are a couple of people that are moving between areas, and one of them is going to this laundry. It's a huge building on the north side of Manhattan that mostly women have been moving between. So the nuns have been going over there to get their clothes laundered and things like that. And you're seeing that there's sort of some cross pollination of personnel between the two places. So it's that gives you the idea that that might be the place to surveil for additional information.
Off to do our laundry now, I guess.
Well, you maybe.
course,
All of
the
my
least
clothes are
disposal
dry.
dry-
Anyway.
Yeah. So who wants to take the next step? Or do you pass that information on to the rest of the coven?
Yes, I'd like to pass that along. I don't remember. Do we have to make a point of saying we're doing telepathy at the beginning of every round?
Yeah, that takes a downtime action, but we can just take that as read since we partially skipped over downtime this last session. So yeah, if you want it, we can just call it. Excellent.
I don't imagine we'll be wandering too far from one another, given that there's only the three of us, but
Yeah.
it's always sensible to have a strong connection.
It's good if you send out a familiar too. Instant information. So who wants to check out the laundry, or do you want to go a different route?
We could send Aran and he could do a flyover and see if he sees her going in and out of the building. Like he could just perch himself out there for a couple of days if necessary
Okay.
and keep an eye out for her specifically.
All right. What does that look like? What kind of action?
I'm gonna say that it is a target because he is looking for her specifically.
Okay.
And he'll spend however much time over like a 2 or 3 day period just seeing if she comes in or if
Sure.
she's just not there at all.
Absolutely, that sounds great. Let's say standard effect for that since he's willing to spend so much time there.
Well, he's an owl. He doesn't have much else to do.
Preening, eating mice and rats. Probably just mice. He's a pretty small owl.
Yeah.
You're looking for Trinity. Who? Trinity. Who?
Mommy?
I got a 5.
Okay. So I think, well, you can go ahead and, well, let's see. I think for the 5, that's a partial success. So that's a medium amount of information. Yeah, I think Iran. So let me give you a general idea of what Iran's seeing when he goes to check out that building. He's seeing a 2-story tall building that has a large courtyard on the inside that's open to the air. And inside that courtyard is a garden. And it's about a quarter of an acre garden, maybe a hair smaller than that. And there are stairways that lead up on either side of that courtyard, and then rooms off to the sides and back of that area. And looking for her in particular, because there are other fowl and birds that are going down into that courtyard, you know, eating seeds that are left on the ground and things like that. Iran's actually able to get in there pretty well, and does see her in one of the top floor back rooms. But she does not come out very often, and he actually never sees her directly. But every once in a while, like a pocket door will open, and he can see into a back room and see her in there lounging comfortably. So,
Okay.
it seems that she has, yeah, a significant amount of people catering to her needs
Okay.
at this place. So, yep. And a quick description of her from what you saw. She's wearing, or she's let's see, about a 6 foot 1 inch tall black woman with long black hair, and she wears like a leather outfit head to toe, or shoulder to toe. No hat or anything like that.
She doesn't have a habit.
No habit. And judging by the fact that you're not seeing her come out of her room, you're thinking she's also probably not training people the way she used to, because she was their head trainer, and that doesn't seem to be happening here. She would have to be far more active for that.
Perhaps she knows that the end is nigh. You think she'd just leave the bloody city?
Iran does see several other people come in to check her out, and it seems like she has 2 people that are routinely in and out of her room, in addition to people sort of waiting on her.
Okay.
One of them is a rather large gentleman, reminds you kind of the bear butcher, but much more handsome, and doesn't have the stature of the butcher.
Is the cub?
What's that?
The cub butcher.
and yeah, he's carrying a massive staff with him.
Does anybody else seem to have weapons?
There are weapons all around the place, but they look ornamental. They're like on the walls of each room.
Okay.
So do
Safe
you want to
weapons aren't really
try to get in there any closer and see any more details? Or are you good with the target?
Yeah, I'm pretty good with that. That seems we know she's there. That's what's important.
Hmm.
Stays down.
Do you want to have Iran try to take anything?
No.
If you had something from this place, you could use it for, you know, ritual stuff, but nothing in particular. Is there anything you all want to do to get ready to prepare?
Drink. I mean, it's just sapes.
Hmm.
I'm sure there'll be some sort of twist, but as far as I'm aware, it's just sapes. It's like kicking an anthill.
Well, I don't think we're close enough for me to get any kind of impersonation on anybody, but I feel like we'll also probably try to be a bit more sneaky about it, so walking right in the front door might not be the best option.
Is it not?
I think Iran's probably able to get some decent information about what their like laundry uniforms look like and things like that, just from being around the place, even though it wasn't specifically what he was looking for. They're wearing like blue jumpsuits.
But don't ask me to get in disguise, darlings, because I'm not.
And yeah, nobody of any particular heritage, as everyone looks like mundane.
Do like just random members of the public come here for their laundry services, or is it like they do laundry for a specific group of people?
Yeah, it doesn't look like randos are just showing up here. It's mostly big trucks of laundry that are being dropped off.
Okay.
Well, if you want to do
Hijack
that,
one of those
I can
trucks.
drive it right through the front door.
Then we could. God, I would have to get in that costume, wouldn't I?
So on street level, there's a main entrance, but just below the main entrance is like a truck ramp that leads down one level underground. And that's where the trucks are dropping off the majority of their payloads.
And is that the
Hello?
second level of this building, or is there like this, the downstairs? So it's like first floor, second floor, where the trucks are.
Yeah, the area the trucks are dropping off would be like the basement. So it'd be the basement and then 2 levels above it. Good question.
Loath
So I
though
would-
I am to suggest it, I could put on one of those uniforms and put Hollis and Seth in a laundry bag and try to haul them in.
Yeah, do you want to like hijack a truck or something?
I mean, I'd prefer to hijack a truck than actually put on the uniform.
Well, let's hijack a truck.
Okay.
Can just drive?
I assume so.
finesse, generally.
These aren't Teslas, right?
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah, these are pretty old school. I mean, in general, they're relatively old vans, panel trucks, or yeah.
Does Elise know how to drive stick?
Elise doesn't know how to drive, but I think she's the only one who could reach the steering wheel whose hands aren't webbed.
You could also hijack a truck by just taking over the mind of the person who's driving it, or mind and body,
Yes.
or at least body.
Which would mean I would have to get into the truck next to them and immediately possess them. Good work.
Yeah. So you just tell me what you want to do, and we'll make an engagement roll and get to it.
Does Seth need to turn into a horse and Elise ride side saddle?
That certainly seems better. I mean, these stilettos were not meant for pressing the gas. They can jab into a horse's side rather well. But I think we should let the birthday gorp decide.
Do you have the coven sheet pulled up?
Sure.
Okay. That has all the plans and details.
Yeah. Let's see. If we want to do a stealthy method, then our detail is our entry point. And if we're going in through the basement with a truck, I guess that would be our entry point.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's up to Elise if you want to take over the mind of the driver and be in the truck, or if we want to try to drive the truck.
I'll just try to drive it. It'll be fun. And if I crash into them, at least they'll be in disarray.
All right. So 1 die for sheer luck, 1 die because you are currently higher tier than the Forsaken Saints, 1 die because this method is, I guess it sort of exploits a weakness. They don't have extremely good security for this. You're also driving like a truck that actually makes deliveries to them, so definitely exploiting a weakness there. So yeah, it looks like that's going to be a 3 dice, unless anybody has any other ideas about reasons that you should get more dice. All
Does
right.
Anya just get an extra dice for all their rolls because it's their birthday?
The birthday assist. Well, you almost don't need it because that was a 6. Good result. So you start in a controlled position. So I think what this looks like is, well, you can describe, but you have the truck and you are not at the laundry yet, but you're in a controlled position with the truck, and you can tell me how you have the driver taken care of. Anya, do you want to start? Or how you would prefer it to be done?
So we could wait until they are stopped at a stoplight, and then I will run up and bang on the door and
Driver
pull
door?
on pull on the door, open the door. And one of you two guys could just grab him and pull him out of the car. And I don't know, we could either just knock him completely out and leave him on the side of the road, or at least could command him to just fuck off so we could have the truck. Yeah.
But I don't use language like that.
F off, good sir. I will arson your face, but I won't tell you the F word.
I don't arson anyone, darling.
Not personally. You condone arson.
Hollis is the only one who sets anything on fire.
It is generally true.
Of course, I'm not opposed to doing it myself, but usually a stray cigarette butt is not enough.
Yeah. We're getting more happy birthdays in chat.
So are we leaving him in the truck and putting a sock in his mouth? Or are we telling him to go get some coffee?
You just stomp on his head in the middle of the street and drive off.
Oh, that's super subtle.
Well, you're in a controlled position, so whatever you do with him works well. So you can decide whichever route.
It's like Grand Theft Auto. You're allowed to brutalize 1 or 2 civilians before the police really start to show up. So we'll pull him out of his car, beat him near death, and get in, and it'll all be fine.
Just leave him on a park bench for somebody to find him.
It's New York. It's not like the traffic's moving anyhow.
All right, so where does this put each of you in the vehicle? Seth, do you want to impersonate the driver?
Yes, I will impersonate the driver.
Okay.
That's a better idea than having me do it.
Just need to take another essence. And I have to do a study roll.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump in the back of the truck.
Okay.
And I
Get in the
suppose-
dirty laundry.
Critical success.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe you peek at this driver's license and some other information and, get his accent down. But yeah, you're definitely going to pass well for him at any checkpoints or anything.
I'm going to hide in the back with Hollis. I am not hiding in dirty laundry, though. If they open the back, they're going to see me.
That means Seth has to drive. Well, that just means Seth is going to crank the radio and blast country roads the whole way there.
Well, you barely get through one song, one before you're there. So, Elise, are you in the passenger seat?
No, I'm standing in the back. Hidden away.
Okay.
Would
Sounds
not
good.
be a good companion to Seth trying to impersonate a laundryman. Me in a red silk gown.
All right. So you're just going to drive up like you're going to deposit laundry and go from there?
Yep. Let's
All
drive
right.
my way to the back.
All right. You pull down into the dimly lit basement area and you pull the van down to a massive door, garage door that they start wheeling out buggies to collect the laundry in. And only 2 workers come out, both women, or sorry, these are 2 men who
God.
come out with carts, and they are waiting for you to unlock the back so that they can start offloading everything. So this is you, Steph.
Yeah, this is me. Trying to see. I was just trying to see what my sway points were to see if I can just, with my impersonation, if I can get any kind of kudos to be like, oh, guys, I got this. Like, go on break. Go get coffee.
I'm gonna
I know
give
you're-
you increased effect on everything you do. Like they recognize you or something like that, and they just sort of let anything slide from you. So you'll still be rolling the same number of dice, but if you're successful, it'll be boosted a level because of
Okay.
your near perfect impersonation. But we should give this driver a name. I'm
Raj.
thinking Josh.
Raj.
It's the first
I
name that
think-
popped into my head. I don't know why.
Did you say
I was
Raj
thinking
or
watching-
Josh?
Raj. I was thinking of our
Raj.
friend Raj. I don't know why. He wasn't a driver.
Sure, I'll be Raj.
Raj. Okay.
Raj.
All right. So yeah,
Sway.
the
I'll do
two guys.
Sway, I think.
Yeah. So the two guys are back there at the back of the truck, and they're sort of, banging on it, and they're like, "Raj, open up." So what does it look like first before you make the roll? What are you actually like talking to them about, or just trying to get them to do?
I want to kind of lean out the window, like not totally get out,
Mm-hmm.
and just be like, "You guys are still here? Like, you worked a full shift yesterday. Like, they got you working again today. Like, just trying to kind of shoot the breeze."
You gotta call them a
Okay.
few
Gotcha.
mean names, darling. That's what men do to each other.
Yeah, they seem to be they're jiving with you.
So I'll do my Sway to see how that goes. See if I can just tell them to, "I got this. Like, you guys go take a long lunch."
Okay.
Complete success at a
Does
6.
Does that mean it's lunchtime? You're here
That
during
means
the
it's
day.
lunch. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with
They're
that.
gonna
All right. They're like,
or
Raj,
dinner. I
we
don't
got
know
our
when we
back.
want to leave. I
And
guess it's up to the rest of the group too to make that decision, not just me.
I think
And-
we just go with it. It's lunchtime.
yeah. All right. So they're like, Raj, you got our back. We love it. And they're like, just pull this door shut when you're done. And they leave their buggies and they head inside.
All right. I'm gonna get out of the dirty laundry.
It's like
Standing there
unnecessary.
smoking, trying to make a dramatic reveal, not expecting Steph's plan to work. So when the door opens, I'm just stood there with a cigarette in my hand, slightly
Posed.
disappointed that I didn't get to kick some man in the face with my Louboutin.
All right, yeah. So Hollis rolls out of one of the giant laundry hampers. You're like, you're gonna know this BO smell. If you ever meet this person that wore this shirt in real life, you will know them immediately.
There we go. We don't even need the right of the taglog.
All right. The giant door is open. There are a couple more of those roll carts for laundry. And you can see this just massive room full of big industrial washers and dryers. And then you can see a ramp that leads up to another level from here. Probably someplace near the back of the building.
That's good.
Okay.
There are a couple other people working down here, but they're just changing laundry from one washer to a dryer, that kind of thing. They don't seem to be paying a whole lot of attention to anything that's going on. So as long as you're, a modicum of prowess, of finesse and prowl, you'll be able to make it up there.
Or we just kill them.
Right. There's always the murder option. So, yep, the other two people that are working down here are both women, and they're both wearing those blue jumpsuits.
But on the one hand, they're women. I don't want to kill them as much as I want to kill the men.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they're committing a crime against fashion.
It's a work uniform. It's not their choice. It's forced on them.
That's
Feel
true.
bad for them.
And this is a stealth mission. We can't just murder willy-nilly.
Well, now
But
that
no
you're
one ever knows what you did because they're all dead.
as soon as we're done with the engagement roll, the fact that it started as a stealth mission goes out the window. It can be anything here, anything after that. But you
Well-
are still in a controlled situation.
Let's go.
Wow.
You said this was an assassination mission, darling. I came prepared. But perhaps let us try to move up the ramp without killing these minimum wage workers.
Yeah.
Is that
If
going to
they
be
say
a
anything, we'll deal with it then.
is that a group prowl? I think Seth could go up completely unnoticed. So, or
I
you
just
know,
put
they wouldn't.
Hollis in a clean laundry basket and take them up with me.
Well, if you two want to do that, I'm sure I can make my way up after.
Okay.
I could try to find a fire alarm or something.
Yeah, I could
What
get
end?
out.
Hollis could create the fire, and then the fire alarm would just go off because that's
Oh
what
yeah, just
fire
do it in
alarms
the
do.
basement so all the
That's true.
sprinklers go off.
Would that
Well,
benefit
Having the
us in
fire
the
alarm is
long
so much
term, though?
easier.
Well, she hasn't been leaving the building for anything, so who says she's going to leave with a fire alarm?
True.
True. And I suppose if she does, we can just kill her in the streets.
So, what's the plan? Have Elise prowl up, and everybody else just use the other method with no roll needed?
Yeah, I'm going in a basket.
Okay. All right. No roll needed for you. Seth, no roll needed for you.
Perfecto.
Not go well. I can assure you that.
Burrito up Hollis in some nice clean bed sheet.
Nice. They're still warm, fresh out of the dryer.
Nice.
Oh,
Perfect.
It even gets the body odor stink off you.
That's nice.
So, Morningstar, what does that look like? What's Elise doing?
well, in truth, not much. She's not exactly the sort to hunch over or attempt to really conceal herself. So, she walks, chest out, head high, smoke trailing behind her from the still lit cigarette, right up the stairs with all the gall that she possibly can. And if
Okay.
they somehow see her, perhaps they'll just be intimidated by how confident she is.
Sure, that makes sense. What do you want to use for that? What action?
Well, I assume prowl is the most appropriate. I'm not certain what would
Not
work.
prowling too much if you're just walking around like you own the place.
Yeah,
What would that be then? A command or a sway?
Yeah,
was
maybe that's
thinking-
way.
I was thinking at first I thought command, but since you aren't, well, even body language can be commanding.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I think command at a reduced effect.
Alright. I suppose that does make sense. Just be the kind of person that they do not want to engage with.
Yeah.
It's a partial success.
Okay. I think what that looks like is nobody says a word, but someone does see you, and so we're gonna add one heat or one fate to the coven. Does that make sense?
Yes. I must admit, I believe fate is something we're supposed to be avoiding, but I
Yeah, it gives
have
you
been making some attempts to rack it up.
some infamy in the end, but goblin in a
Infamy
basket of
works
clean
for
bed
us.
sheets carried by a fish person. Exactly. All right. Okay. Well, let's take a quick break since we started a little bit late, and we will be right back to head up to the first level as a coven.
So
See you.
everyone had best stay watching, or else they'll miss the good parts.
We'll be
Things are
right
going
back.
to get very violent.
Very. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nightsky Sanctum, episode 16, where we left off. Seth in laundry,
Driver form.
laundry driver uniform was pushing a basket of Hollis in fresh linens up to the first floor from the basement, as Elise strutted confidently up the incline, and they were all able to meet up on the lower level of the building, where they can now see that there is a sort of bustling sort of mini ecosystem here of mostly women going between rooms. It looks like this level is mostly like bedrooms would be one way, I guess, of saying it. They're you see the room nearest to you, the door is wide open and there's nobody inside, and so you're able to sort of huddle in there for so that you're not seen. And you can see there's like a thin, maybe 2-inch mattress on the floor, and a pile of clothes, and some like swords on the wall, and not much else aside from a cross on just about every wall.
Is there
So
a cross near us right now?
across near you?
Yes.
Yeah, there's one within about 2 feet of you.
I want to take it off the wall and just snap it over my leg.
Okay.
Oh wait,
Yep,
no. Never mind that. I'm just going to turn it upside down.
okay. It keeps slipping back, gravity, but eventually you're able to get it balanced so it sits upside down. Yeah, they are pretty sturdy wood. They look handmade, and they don't have any like figure on them or anything. They're just sort of pretty basic looking crosses. They don't have any like, there's no like filigree or ornate anything. They're just
Rubbish.
yeah, they're garbage.
So
They could be whittled into a bike if necessary.
these women are living here, but not in very good conditions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're women under an oppressive religious regime. Of course, they're not living in good conditions.
Yeah. So yeah, you have yourselves sequestered in this little bedroom behind a pocket door. The walls leading out into that main area are really, really thin, but the wall behind you is cement, so it would stand up to a lot.
Okay.
And from outside of this room, you can see a giant courtyard with a garden, and a lot of women sort of bustling around from one room to another. Yeah.
Oh, we should go to the kitchen. We should find the kitchen and go to the kitchen. I'd love to grab some salt so we can salt their garden.
You have a fairly good idea of where that would be, since it'd probably be a sort of central position. Your guess is that that's probably at the, oh, there I go, inadvertently showing off our merch. But you expect that it would be at the back, underneath the 2 big stairwells that go up to the upper level. So there's a set of double doors back there that you expect the kitchen and maybe a cafeteria or something like that back there.
We should plan for what we're going to do. Now that we're in here, while we have a moment of reprieve.
Hello, Birdie.
Which is immense this evening. We could have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
And by fun, I mean, Seth, you could reprise your award-winning role as Jesus of Nazareth. I can just imagine Trinity's face going.
Wait a minute.
Oh crap! Jesus is back.
This guy, this fucking guy.
The bird is Hermes.
Hmm.
Somebody was asking in chat.
Well, I'm down to do that. I have enough essence that I can do an impersonation again.
I don't think it
guess
would
that's
benefit
not
us.
impersonation, but shapeshift. But
Mm-hmm.
It would likely show our hand immediately.
yeah, I feel the element of surprise on that is lost.
At the same time, do we really care? Are these poor, likely insignificant in the grand scheme of things, the minimum wage workers really going to do a damned thing to stop us? Or the average nun in here? And if they try, are they really going to be able to?
Yeah, from looking around this room, you would say minimum wage would probably be a pretty big upgrade from what they're getting. There's a good chance that these people aren't being paid for their labor.
Well, then we have to liberate them. Bring them back to our compound. And pay them a few pennies an hour. That'll be the upgrade.
Why don't we snatch one of them and ask a couple of questions and get a better picture of what is going on?
Oh, yes, ask a couple of questions, of course. Politely, too. No coercion.
I mean, we can even open up the washers and let the water spill everywhere.
No, darling, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to pour far too much of the liquid in there, so it just
It bubbles.
over.
And then it fills the entire place, all 3 stories.
And we
That
just pour a
could
bit
get
of
away
poison
fun.
in the bubbles, too.
I like that name, Creed, though. I'm going to use that for one of the NPCs. Somebody in chat. I think that was
Creed Barton.
That's Hope. All right. Who do you want to target? Just anybody that's passing by the door?
Yeah.
And what do you
Reach
want
out
to do
our
to
arm
them?
and grab someone by the scruff of their neck.
Oh, Elisa's going to do that?
But I'm the biggest one.
Yeah.
Although,
All right.
not the strongest one. So it might be better if Hollis was to do it from ground level.
Grab somebody by the ankles and drag them into the room. That's when we get
Like
the
while you're at it.
screaming and
True.
Or Seth, the laundry driverman, who is obviously well known by these people, could do it.
Yeah, you'd probably at least get a double take before somebody screams. Since you look like you at least have a reason to be here.
Do they have their names on their jumpsuit that I could just be like, hey, Steph, like, I need your help over here? Just coerce them into the room.
I'm going to say the people on the lower deck did, the loading area and the laundry, but the people up here that you've seen, their uniforms are a little bit different, and no, they don't have any name tags or anything.
I mean, I could just reach into one of their minds. We really don't have to be nice with them. If one of you pull them in here,
I'll just meow like a cat inside of the basket, and you can just be like, hey, I think there's a cat in this basket. Somebody will come
Oh
look.
man, yeah, that sounds awesome. I would love for you to do that.
foolproof nation.
Yeah.
Little green ears poking up over.
I think it's a Sphinx kitty.
I'll do my best cat impression.
Love it. Love it.
Is that a sway?
Sounds
Is
like a
that-
dying cat. Or a cat in heat, just sad yowling.
The good thing is, even a bad cat impression will draw someone in to look at who's doing the really bad cat impression. More so.
Either that or they want to see what the heck's wrong with that cat.
Or it's the best, the rescue cat that they know there's something really wrong with that cat the way it's meowing.
Disease.
All right, yeah, who wants to do that? And is that a sway?
Well, I guess I'm still
yeah,
holding the basket. So
I'm
I
not
don't know.
making
We're
cat
gonna hear
noises.
Hollis.
like a group sway.
Yeah.
I am not making cat noises.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
Elisa's
do
not making cat noises. I'm actually quite good.
So what's happening? Are we just in a room and we're
Yeah.
making noises to coax people in, or am I out in the hall with Hollis in the basket still?
You're in a room. Yeah,
Okay.
you were all
Smoking
sequestered
still.
away in a room with very thin walls, and yep.
Honestly, if I just keep smoking here, eventually one of them's going to smell tobacco.
Well, I'll do a group sway with Hollis if that's what we want to do.
Unless you want to just do a assist, that might be the safer way.
Sure, yeah, I can do that. So that just requires me getting 1 willpower, or is it 2
Yep.
willpower?
Just one,
Okay.
and then Hollis can roll with 1 extra die.
Okay.
I think they want to hear Morningstar's cat sounds.
God, now that I'm on the spot.
I got a complete success.
Okay, so this
I'm a
is the
very
sound.
convincing cat.
This is the sound they hear. Nothing came through.
No.
Very quiet. I could only hear you through the door.
Aw,
Aw.
our cats do that sound to bugs.
Aw.
Okay, yeah. So someone hears a tiny, high-pitched trill noise and peeks their head into the room that you're in, and only sees the basket with Seth standing over it.
I don't see me
And-
standing there in a red gown smoking.
Okay, not hiding or anything.
No, I'm not hiding. I'm just going to rush out and grab their head immediately and attempt to do a mental takeover.
Sounds good.
There's no need for stealth when you have magic.
True. And they just get sucked into the room. And
Just close
yeah, so
the door behind them.
Just give them just enough time to walk into the room.
this is a mental takeover or physical takeover.
Mental takeover. We
Okay.
can just kill them after, it's fine. We don't know who this is. We don't know if they're worth me, actually.
Yeah.
That's a partial success at a 5.
Okay. So you are inhabiting the mind of someone named Liana, and
What a plebeian name.
and you immediately. Well, what are you looking for in her head?
Well, I suppose we already know the exact location of Trinity, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So, I would like to know, roughly, what the security around that area looks like.
Okay.
I'm sure she's been near it.
Yeah, she's seen Creed a lot. He's the 6 foot 4 inch tall, 4.5, almost foot wide gentleman with the overly large bow staff that patrols the halls and the stairs and makes sure that everybody isn't like burning candles or anything in their rooms after sunset. And they sometimes see him at meals, but Leanna hasn't seen him in a few days.
Oh, a shame. Now that specimen would be worth a physical takeover.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He seems to be like the head sort of general. There are a few other people, but they haven't been seen recently either.
Mhm.
You know that Leanna is not allowed onto the second floor, as most of the women who work here have similar situations. They seem to be, including this woman, seem to be afraid of going up to the next floor. It's
They
definitely
mistreated?
off limits. What's that?
Are they mistreated?
Is that another thing you'd like to know,
I think
Elise?
it's quite obvious, darling.
Is Elise looking into that as one of your questions?
She doesn't care if people are mistreated, my god. She just wants to be the one mistreating them. No, I think she would assume they're being mistreated by the fact that their rooms aren't covered in gold and silk.
Like your children's are?
Exactly. Well, no, the children's rooms are nice.
All right.
Those children live a decadent life. They just have to endure me.
I think for the there's a minor consequence. I think somehow she manages to sort of break free from your mental domination pretty quickly. It seems like there's like some trauma or something in there, and you just sort of trigger some kind of like fight or flight instinct. And as soon as you sort of have those few things that you were looking for out of the way, she kind of breaks free and just her eyes are kind of still glazed over, but she looks like she's about to bolt for the door.
I just pat her on the cheek, and I say, "Good girl." And I point to the bed. I don't know if it's hers or not.
Yeah, about a 1 in 50 chance or so, I'd say. um,
I suppose that seems suggestive, my goodness.
yeah, does that require a command or a sway roll?
Sound more like a sway, doesn't it? My goodness. No, I was just trying to be nice. This
I
is
think
what I get for trying to be nice. This is why I should solely stick to evil.
yeah, I think if you want to control sort of her fight or flight, it's definitely going to require some kind of roll.
Okay, well, I would likely attempt that at least. To do something to calm her down. I'm not sure what. I suppose, again, it probably would be a command to try to take control of a
Mhm.
person who has clearly entered their primal instincts
Yeah,
and guide them in what I determine is the best for their health.
yeah. I think
Because it is.
command at reduced effect would work.
And it is best for her health, because if she
It is.
storms out there, she's another person we have to kill.
Yeah.
It's a complete success, even at reduced effect.
All right. Yeah, her heart's racing, but with you standing in front of the door, she kind of realizes that she's sort of blocked off from everybody else. It doesn't even cross her mind to like, make a loud noise or anything. And she's still thinking of like, where's the cat? So she sort of sits down and calms down and is kind of waiting for answers.
She's just
Well,
making the
my
waiting for the cat to come out.
this one is obsequious. We're going to get you out of here, darling. We're going to give you a raise. I love obsequious people.
At least just wants someone to do her laundry.
Again, darling, it's all dry clean only. You don't throw silk in the wash.
That's why you need laundry experts.
Is that a coven upgrade we can get?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna jump out of the basket and tell her there's no cat. I'm sorry.
Surprise!
It's just me.
Just calm her down, darling. Now you're going to break her heart.
Pets Hollis's head anyway.
Let's do a 2-die fortune roll and see if that what kind of impact that leaves on her. Unless you're going for something specific.
Jumping out of a bag and saying there's no cat. I can't imagine it's a good mental impact.
I got a good result at a 6.
Oh, okay. Her eyes widen and she says, you're here to set us free?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She smiles and puts her back up against the wall and crosses her legs on the bed and says, "What can I do?"
Go tell all of your friends to get ready to leave.
Okay, she hops to her feet and
And to stay out of our way.
okay. Um, so she sort of mentally memorizes your appearances so she can describe you. And so,
She'll
Seth, do
look
you want to
all
stay in this form, or do you want to be something that's really obvious so they know?
Jesus.
I was thinking a fish person, but
Yeah,
both work
I'm just
too.
gonna. If we're not being sneaky anymore now that they're all gonna leave, I'm just gonna revert to fish person.
Okay.
Isn't Jesus a fish person? Don't all the Christians put that fish on the back of the car?
I mean, he
So
walks on water. He doesn't swim in.
you
He
you
multiplies
shape
lots of fishes.
you shapeshift your familiar into loaves and yourself into your fish person.
Oh my god, love it.
All right. Okay. Well, we're gonna roll 2 more dice to see how well she carries out the orders. I'll do
This is
that.
really pointing out how fine the line is between freedom fighter and self-serving megalomania.
Okay. She makes it through 2 rooms of telling people what's, in very, very quick terms, what's going on. They are being rescued, and that everybody should be ready. But as you're listening through the door, through the thin walls, you hear that after about the second or third one, you hear a big crashing noise, and um, and then she stops talking.
Oh no. Somebody's a traitor.
Well,
And then you
Ever-Vigilant.
hear the sound of footsteps running up the stairs.
Oops. I think they know that we're here. Or they will very shortly.
Well, then stealth out the window. Let's start killing.
Um, Anya, can you
Yes.
make a 2 die fortune roll? I forgot that you are currently possessed.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
I forgot that they were currently possessed.
Yeah, they have a spirit named Styx
Oh,
that's
but
been with them
Six was a
since.
friend.
I
Mhm.
got a good results at a 6.
All right. Styx tells you that they're recognizing there are some underworld things here that are not at rest.
Okay.
Um, restless spirits, you would say.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna take a peek, I guess, speak with the dead. See if
Okay, you'll
anybody
need to
wants to.
touch a corpse, but I would say with a good result from Styx, we'll treat Styx as like a conduit. So Styx extends itself from your body into the ground and sort of reaches out to touch. And yeah, you can make a roll of your choice. I think focus would make sense, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. This will be where I get the bad one. I got a failure.
okay.
Our
So
first
you're
failure of the evening. My goodness, and we're halfway through the session.
We should
so
have
you're
just
gonna
found you that really rank shirt from earlier.
so
Basically
you're
smells like a corpse.
gonna yeah. So you get some not particularly useful information. Um, I think this is Styx is trying to like translate sort of the
Mhm.
the voices, the information and everything. But it just comes through so fast and furious and so many voices that your head just sort of clogs. It's almost like ringing in your ears as all these voices are coming in, and then Styx goes completely silent.
So there's a lot of dead people here.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot more when we're done.
This is true. And that's when you can hear that the sound of like people running up the stairs, etc., has sort of reached a fever pitch as well. And you can hear swords being unsheathed.
Shall we
Wow.
just march on them? Show these pathetic mortals who's in charge of the city.
Yeah. Let's just walk out to the middle of the garden and wait for them to come down.
Right.
Make them come to us.
Okay. So the three of you stride out from that room into the central area. You see a lot of the people that are wearing the sort of low-level uniform, like the woman that you pulled into that room, um, are have all sort of congregated at the back, like toward the exit, um, which in a way is would kind of be blocking you if you were to try to leave. But you see that all along the upper level there are mostly women with katanas drawn, and it looks like there's about 20-ish of them. The person that you expected to be up there, either Trinity herself or her general, have not shown themselves.
We're in the courtyard, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I will address them. I will say, is your leadership really that cowardly? Or are they just that sensible? To know that their death is nigh. That their only option is to throw their pawns at the queens before them. I warn you, darlings, this won't go well for you, but it'll be bloody fun for us.
All right, they start sort of in formation, moving toward the stairs, and then three on each side come down, and the others sort of fill in the gaps up there at the top, which would be the easiest way to get to what you expect to be Trinity's room.
Okay.
Should we let Hollis rush up there to Trinity's room using her marvelous broom, whilst we have fun with these saves who are foolish enough to not take the opportunity to escape?
You want me to leave you some fire?
And I must admit, your fire has been quite the boon thus far.
Hollis, you feel like you're standing on the graves of 1,000 people right now, being in the middle of this garden.
That's how they keep a lovely garden. Spectacular fertilizer.
So I can only animate one dead person at a time.
Yeah, with the animate dead grimoire power.
Although
that you
wild magic, who knows?
Why don't
Yeah.
I wild magic us up an army of dead people that they've already killed?
Happens, I would say.
That sounds pretty awesome. Yeah, so let's see. Your grimoire is Baba, so
Mhm.
that definitely fits with your grimoire. So
Mhm.
that's 1 die. Your
Nice.
aspect,
Is death.
okay, and that definitely fits. And your um, disposition,
Is curious.
curious. This is a
I'm
completely
very
new
curious
effect
how many
for you.
bodies are down there.
Mhm. Um, I think if everybody agrees, that's the 3 dice wild magic.
I agree.
Okay.
I think this is quite primed for some wild comeuppance. I'm sure
Okay,
that
so I just
regret.
roll it like a regular action roll.
Exclamation point 3. I think it's wild. WYLD.
Isn't that the
The consequences one.
That's oh, I don't know. Let me. I
I
think
think that's
did
the
that.
one
it
we.
last time, and I don't remember it being very complicated
Yeah,
until
you're
the
right. That is complications.
So just 3.
Yeah, just an action roll.
Oh, okay.
three is a rather good.
I got a 5.
Okay, so that's you do it at a cost. That cost is a minor, interesting glitch
Thankfully,
regarding
it's not
this.
manta ray arms were a bit earlier in the session.
So, Anya, why don't you go ahead and tell us what that looks like? The successful casting of your wild magic.
Okay. Hollis goes about casting like she normally does. Puts her hands together, rubs them, squats down, touches the ground, does her chanting and gob. And but this time her eyes glow and the ground around her starts to vibrate and it spreads out from her and the whole courtyard starts vibrating and all of these corpses start crawling their way out of the ground like, Return of the Zombies, hands poking up out of the grounds as they pull themselves out of the dirt and they are ready for vengeance. I guess the complication could be that Hollis now takes on the characteristics of one of the dead. So she looks like she's dead. She looks like a zombie. She's gross. She's kind of desiccated and like the life has gone out of her.
I think
Okay.
something worse, darling. She takes on all of the dead. A legion
Yeah.
of anger.
Yeah, I was thinking something very similar to that. Like, Styx was trying to help you communicate with them, and
Yeah.
now that you're embracing all of them, you have like lifetimes of deaths and information like flooding into your head, and yeah, you take on the sort of whole group's features in
Okay.
death. And so you're at this state of decomposition now that lets you blend in really well with the rest of the zombies. And you're all sort of
For the rest of the session.
you are all of one mind. So
Cool. We're Borgs. Sweet.
so what is your first command for them?
Go get Trinity.
Okay.
So, and anybody in your way, get rid of them.
Okay. So let's mark 3 fate and 3 fey bargain.
Okay. Fey bargain for me.
Yep. Fate for the coven.
Okay.
And I think it takes 3 essence as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Do believe so, yes. No willpower, but
Yeah.
Let's see. I was at 0 essence, so that's awesome.
Awesome.
And 3 fate for the coven.
Yeah. So I think that this is going to be or a tier 4 zombie horde.
Okay.
Because of the immense number of bodies here that over the years, you see clothing and things like that on these zombies that definitely go back
Hundreds.
at least 300 years.
My goodness, some of them are almost dressed like me.
Yeah. And because they're such a high tier, because there are so many of them, these katana wielding women are cutting through many of them, but the zombies just descend on them and tear them limb from limb. And I would say, well, what would the other two of you like to do while this is going on?
Smoke.
How about
I
Seth?
mean, it seems like my work's being done for me.
I think Seth would like to transform into a large bird,
Okay.
potentially using dire form and using kind of
A
the
rock.
attempt to use the wind from their wings to kind of push away from the rest of the group. So forcing the zombies forward like a gust of wind, but also kind of blowing back the other people.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna have you spend anything for that. The zombies definitely seem to already be on the way to winning this battle, just because as one gets cut down, 3 more climb out of the ground to replace it. So yeah, you're giving them a sort of boost from the back, and yeah, if you wanted to take off to the upper level, you probably wouldn't be stopped if you were flying.
My favorite sort of battles are the ones that are won by completely superfluous elements.
Because you are in the city, we're going to start a 6 o'clock for the Red Watch to come.
If they get me, you guys have to come get me.
We better go kill that nun.
I'll put you right
Prison.
back in the basket.
Prison break, assassination attempt, prison break, zoo heist, prison break. It'll just be every other session. We'll do a prison break.
I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
And Rikers obviously isn't well prepared. I mean, if
No.
we had deigned to take our time, we could have freed every bloody witch in there.
Possibly. You did get pretty lucky with the wild magic on the way out. You only lost 1 NPC.
Yeah.
And I've carried that this entire week.
So it's not so lucky.
I assure you, my character hasn't, but I have wondered what I could have done better.
Rolled a 6 instead of a 5. Okay. So the I think the thing that's going to happen here is that a couple of the smarter katana wielding women toward the back of the line are going to jump down from the upper level so that they can try to get in closer to Seth and Elise without the zombie horde being in their way. So you get 1 each hopping down to try to take on the 2 of you.
1 each. This will be fun.
Elise, do you want to go first? Or are you still
Well,
using
yes, but
rings?
I must admit, I'm not certain what to do with them.
I think you need to back up a little bit. Your mic's.
Oh, well, no, I don't. I just move the mic. It's the magic of springs and gears. I suppose I could just tell them to put their weapon down. If they're smart, I could tell them in great detail. What I'll do with them, I'll take my knife and I'll slide it into their belly and pull it up, but very carefully, so they stay alive as their entrails spill out. And they'll feel the most delicious agony possible. I will make them relish every second of it, just as I do. And that is the threat I tell to them to put down their weapon.
Okay. Let's see. I think that would be with a command. Is that the intention there?
Likely. I suppose one could argue for sway, but I think command is more likely because really, it isn't a request.
Yeah. I'm going to say because they're well trained, that's going to be no effect at baseline. So if you wanted to spend 2 willpower, you could get that up to limited effect.
Well, I might as well. I haven't been doing much this session thus far. So I suppose a little bit of willpower exerted isn't too
Another way you could get increased effect would be to spend essence. So you could basically channel your astral essence so
Yeah,
that they
use a
see.
magical flare.
Mm-hmm. And that would only cost 1 essence to get you that increased effect.
I might do that because I believe that would be more logical.
Yeah. It's something that they don't have a lot of experience with, so it would really take them off their balance. Because they've sort of been trained to not listen to battlefield talk like that. But if
one
they see that
should.
magic welling up in you,
It would be quite foolish to obey these commands, but at the same time, it would be quite foolish not to. No, I do believe essence would be likely more sensible because I think a little bit of magical influence would be necessary here.
some.
But it's a complete success.
Okay. So I think you've already described that in pretty good detail. The
Describe it in
woman,
more detail, darling. I do love describing horrible
absolutely.
qualities.
Well, she drops her weapon, so
But that's all that's necessary. Then I needn't tell her what I'd do with a spleen.
so she backs toward the group of other women that are blocking the door, and she apparently thinks that they will be friendly toward her and let her through, but they grab her and beat her down.
My goodness, what
So
barbarous wretches.
apparently this is one of the abusers.
Mm.
Seth,
There we go. We have a
yours?
target.
I'm still a bird at this point, so I just like to bird of prey, kind of sweep in and squish with my talons.
Okay.
Bird of prey as in bird of prey, or bird of prey as in Harley Quinn.
Yes.
Do you want to use dire form for that?
I'd have to
And-
take another essence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't need to spend one for the previous time.
Oh, okay.
gave
Well, I already ticked
maybe.
it.
Okay.
I'll just leave that one ticked then, and then I guess that would be a brawl move.
That sounds good.
Okay. Sorry, I have to do it on my monitor. So I can't access Discord on my laptop.
Oh no.
That was a failure. Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay.
Out of 3.
Yeah, number 2 of the entire evening.
Okay. So I forgot to mention this is we're in desperate because of
Yes,
a ton of wielding people. However, you are in dire form, so you're an extremely large version of a bird of prey. Any idea of what bird you'd go with?
Like a falcon.
Okay. So I think you reach down for them, and they basically guard their head with their katana, and in an effort not to get one of your talons chopped off, you're sort of forced to withdraw and try to make another swoop at them or something later.
Do I take any harm?
Not yet, but if you'd like, you can. I think if you want to press, you can take some damage to deal some damage. If that's up you, sort of what you're going for.
And how would I press? Just roll again, or what would I do?
Yeah, we could do that. I think that makes sense.
It's just my
Same
same thing I
as
rolled the first
before. Yeah. And it won't cost you any extra essence because it's like the same action.
time. Okay. Partial success out of 5.
Okay. So yeah, I think that katana does come up and slashes through one of your talons, but your other talon gets in and grabs it by the woman by the head, just as you hoped. So you're gonna take level 2 harm, unless you want to resist that. And
Nope, I think that makes sense.
but I think you also grab the katana, your strong talons and everything. You're able to wrench the katana out of her hand. So level 2 harm, like split hand, like this sort of part of your hand is sort of split open.
Ugh.
I'll do split hand webbing. Do I
Yeah.
have to add the katana to my assets now?
if you wanna keep it, for sure you can. Yeah.
Sure, I'll slap it in there just for giggles.
Yeah, it might be good to study this katana later. You might find out more
That's
about
true.
the organization. Oh, and you can always use psychometry on it later.
Psychometry, or I can use it in potentially like training,
Mm-hmm.
learn some kind of fitness ability, or like fighting stance. That might be kind of cool.
Oh,
So was
yes.
this a head
Fish
squish?
Anna.
The attack, you were going for like a head squish?
Yeah, just full on crunch.
All right. Do you want to describe that?
Well, after my toes are sliced with my first attempt, and I get my other talons, toes on either side of her neck, and one on top, and just crunch her face, and chuck her aside and shake off my talons. Really
Okay.
cool.
All right. She falls to the ground. You still have her katana in your talon, and you see that several of the other women that are at the top of the stairs that are sort of waiting in line to be torn apart by zombies are like they don't want to be involved in this anymore. But they're sort of like there's no good way out for them, because the two people who just jumped down were immediately dispatched and by you and by the crowd at the door. So it's like zombies, you guys, or the crowd at the door. None of that seems like a really good answer to what's going on.
But they're quite mistaken. Because, really, we have no quarrel with any of you. We just want to put your terrible, tyrannical imperious leader in the ground. So
On-
really, you should all just split away so that we can make your lives better.
Anya, you feel like sort of the wrath of all these zombies are, like very in your head. They want to do as much damage as they can, but they also want to rest very badly. So there's this like there's sort of two competing energies going on.
Okay.
But they've made their way through about half of the fighters at this point. Do you want
Okay.
to sort of lead the next movement?
Yeah, I will tell them to stop, and I'll have them pick me up, or whoever, the few that are around me pick me up so
Mhm.
that I'm higher. And I will tell these ladies with the katanas they can give us Trinity and get out of our way, and they can leave, or I will tell the horde to tear them apart.
Okay. What do you want to use for that?
Uh,
Definitely going to give you increased effect.
I guess command. I've got one command dot.
Okay. Yeah, you'll
I'll be
have increased
that.
effect. You
Could I
can.
shout from downstairs how to do it and give a little benefit to her command, since I am the mistress of commanding?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, with the telepathy and everything.
Yeah.
Plus, it kind of in a way, it's building off the same energy that you've been putting out. So, yeah, I think plus one die for a willpower, that makes sense. So,
Okay. So 2 dice.
yep. And desperate
Give a
and
master
increased
command
effect.
at your behest, darling.
And I failed.
Okay.
Oh no.
And this is why we
So,
leave things to the master.
so what you see is that most of these women have been so trained to martyr themselves to their cause that you watch them get into conflict after conflict that they are overwhelmed by. They just have no chance. You know, cutting off arms and heads from the zombies, but it not making any difference until every last one of them falls and is dead.
It
And at
seems
that
like a
point,
patriarch critique.
Yeah.
so it takes a little while. We're going to fill in 3 ticks on the red watch clock,
Okay.
but I think that by the time you have, sort of waited out the answer and you see that that's where it's going and it ends that way.
I gave them the option.
You did.
That's all you can
Just
do.
always give them the option, darling. Let them make their own mistakes.
So there are about 40 other people behind you that obviously there are some traitors among them. Somebody gave them away when they came trying to deliver your message, but the rest of them, they're grossed out and everything by what's going on and very disturbed and probably additionally traumatized, but they are on your side and they'll do as you ask. But the spirits are very, very they feel the need to rest.
Okay.
There's a chance you might be able to command them again, but um the urge to rest is strong among them now.
Okay. They deserve it.
For
I
all that
will
time.
tell them to rest.
All right. They drop to the ground and immediately start decomposing at an extremely advanced rate. And they return to the earth right in front of you. And you feel almost like a part of you. You feel like part of yourself has died too, because they were all such a big part of you. If you'd like, you can start a free clock of like understanding what went on with this group of people and sort of knowing who all the perpetrators were and things like that. But yeah, this goes very, very deep, and it's a very old system that they've established.
Okay.
So yeah, the rest of you see that happen as well.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna grab at least one skull and throw it in my bag.
Okay.
That'd be useful for later.
Yeah.
I suppose Seth still has someone who's eager to fight them.
No, I think she crushed the head of
Yep.
the person.
Squish them.
Yep.
Right, of course. Well then,
Dead as a doornail.
Let's go get
perhaps
Trinity.
we should all advance.
All right. Yep. You head up the stairs, and it's just a mass of bodies, but all the corpses have decomposed, except for the katana wielding militia. And you head up the stairs, and you can see that there's a big room with big double doors of like pocket doors at the back of the area directly above where you expect the kitchen was. And you can see that there's light coming from that room, and you can see the figure of a big person standing on the other side of that door.
But that's probably our cub, Creed.
Mm-hmm. As you come up the stairs, you see his bow staff stick in between the door and the wall, and he uses that to slide the door open. And when you look in and see him, he is pale, like he's just seen a ghost. Um, he sort of stumbles forward toward you, and he gets into like a defensive stance with his staff, and his eyes can't even like focus on you very well. He looks like he's out of it.
My
And you
goodness,
see
he's
an
a
open
baby.
you see an open door behind him that leads into the next room where you expect Trinity to be.
Well, I would like to pat him on the cheek and say, even though you've done your best, darling, but you really don't stand a chance. So, do be a good boy and sit over there. And don't interfere with the rest of what the adults are doing.
Okay, so this like Hodor sized gentleman, you reach up and
You said he was only 6-something. I think Hodor was 7-something.
that's true. I think you're right. He is a little bit taller than that. Um, I was thinking width rather than height, but yeah. Um, but yeah, so let's see how that goes. I'm gonna say reduced effect, but not no effect like before.
Right, and I assume that's a command as well, because that was a very callous way of talking. As a rule, if you don't care about people's feelings, you get things done much easier. That's a 4. So that
Okay.
is something done.
Mm-hmm. He tries not to follow your order, but he swings the staff and misses you, and then kind of crumbles onto, like one of his legs sort of crumples under him, and he sort of goes down on one knee. And yeah, he's just sort of swimming. And then I think he just passes out and falls over onto the floor.
Well, I don't even have to pretend that he's a good boy now.
So he kind of falls over, and he's sort of teetering on the edge between the upper level and falling down a floor.
Remind me before we leave, darlings. We should take that one. He's servile and oh so big.
And we have a cell that's been empty for way too long.
Hey, we don't need to put him in a cell, darling. We put him in a chair. We treat him nice. We give him some nice little head pats, and he does everything I tell him to do, or else he gets stabbed in the gut 37 times. It really works out wonderfully for everyone involved.
All right. Do you want to gather some information in here, or
Well, does Elise want to possess him?
No,
Either with spirit or anything?
no, he's not worth worrying about. We go past him.
No, he's big. You could use him.
I could
That's all I know.
stab Trinity myself, darling. I'm offended. Just because I'm not terribly strong doesn't mean I'm worthless. We don't need some filthy sape who's by genetic lottery 6.5 foot tall. No, I can handle this myself. I am truly offended by the suggestion.
Good lord.
Seth, what form are you in now?
I'll just be fish person so I can use doors.
Okay. Those are nice. So yeah, who wants to do something? Do you want to all go back as a group?
If we are a group at this point, we're all at the top.
I want to go through that door and get Trinity.
Okay.
I want to go too.
Okay.
I'm
Suppose
still
I'll roll
very
secret.
angry about all the dead people that were just in my brain, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for her to die.
Oh, I don't
Alright.
know if we want to bring it up at all in this session. I have a... Actually, no, never mind. That's a... I was going to say I have a fake contract, but that's not anything like effects for us, so never mind.
Yeah,
That's a
we
separate
roll
thing.
that between sessions. So, yep. You also have, I think, some kind of weird arm wound, if I remember right. That's
Yes, I
have
have
insect.
battery acid burns from last time, but I have a permanent scar on my shoulder from intense harm, so that's visible anytime I shapeshift now.
Hmm.
I have no harm at all, currently. Although I'm willing to take some. If
Well,
all the same.
Speaking of that, I'm going to need all of you to make a prowess resist.
Well,
So
this is not going to go well.
as you are headed into that back area and go to slide the door open, you hear a shotgun cock and then fire.
Okay. Prowess.
So everybody will be resisting or can take up to level 2 harm.
But it's a failure, as expected for a prowess resist.
That'll cost you 3
Five?
willpower.
You
Yeah, I
reduce
got a
the effect
5.
and spend 1 willpower.
1 willpower. 1 willpower.
Yes, I forgot my R.
So that's 3 willpower to resist. So you guys hear the cocking sound, and Hollis and Seth are both, I guess, on either side. And you
Actually,
two are...
I would like to pause a sec.
Sure.
Instead of resisting that,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to take it head on.
Okay. Normally after you roll you can't, but I think that's completely fine.
Submit, I didn't know
Yeah.
that necessarily we were resisting.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Sorry, my apologies. I wasn't paying
No, it's fine.
attention.
Yeah. No problem. So, yeah, take level 2 harm, buckshot to the... And you can choose the extremity or the torso or the face, or... I think probably she'd be aiming for center of mass, so if it was Hollis, it would be face, but if it was anybody else, it would probably be torso.
I'm going to take the harm as well and spend the willpower, but I would also quite like to use,
Oh.
for the first time,
Oh,
my threefold curse.
okay. Well, you don't need to spend the willpower to do that. Yeah, you're good. Okay, let me quickly, or do you have threefold curse description written down there?
It says here, after suffering direct harm from an opponent, you may curse them to take 3 times the harm they caused you. Player may choose the mechanism, but harm is certain.
Yep.
It
So
says here
there.
it's a 3 essence cost
Mhm.
and a focus roll.
Yep. So you can decide what you want to do with that 6 levels of harm and how you
See if
want
it's
that to apply.
successful first before I
Yeah.
favor it too much.
Well, we need to determine like the position and effect. So if you want to just decide how you want it to manifest.
I would assume that since you know what, okay. So I've been playing with this idea, and as I am always smoking, I think the smoke should sink its way into Trinity's lungs and then expand to a critical mass.
Okay. Okay.
Assuming it succeeds.
Yeah. Okay. So you can make that roll.
It is a critical success, my goodness.
Awesome.
With 2 die, I didn't expect that.
Do you want that to just happen immediately?
No, I want it to be dragged out. My goodness,
Okay.
I didn't expect it to be critical. We have
Yeah.
to flavor this properly. No, the smoke. She
Has to.
hits me with her shotgun.
Yeah.
I take the hit. Awful, my goodness. I am terribly injured. But then a ring from my cigarette that I blow it after drifts its way towards her and
Through the holes
finds
in the
its
door.
way into her lungs.
Okay.
And well, I'm not sure how much damage that does, but it certainly does more than what she inflicted upon me.
Yeah. All right. So you hear her from the other side of the door gasping and choking, but you can't exactly see what's going on. And Seth and Hollis, you're both able to get to your feet, and you see Elise laying there on the floor, horribly wounded.
But contented.
With a wisp of smoke working its way through the door as she continues to gag and choke from the other side.
Boy. A hole in her chest and a smile on her face.
I've been waiting for this opportunity, darling, since I made this bloody care.
Mhm. Yeah, Elise has had the general power threefold curse literally since session 0.
It has hit me in a meaningful manner. This is it.
So yeah, every puff of cigarette you take for the rest of Trinity's life will find its way to her and fill her lungs to bursting.
But then, good thing I'm a chain smoker.
You hear
We
the
should
sound of
probably stop Elise from bleeding to death.
It's only a level 2 harm, darling.
It is a
it's
lot of
still
little holes.
Bleed to death very slowly.
yeah.
Is this why you wore the red dress?
Oh yes, of course, darling. This is precisely why I wore red. One cannot see blood upon it, whether it be mine or my victim's.
So you hear her stumbling around in the next room, and then you hear her drop the shotgun, and you hear the
Oh,
sound of
shit.
her katana being unsheathed.
Oh no.
And I stumble back to my feet, clutching my stomach. And I say, there's no better time than now. She is a mewling kitten.
Do you still have that katana? Do you want to get her?
Oh yeah. Fish with a katana. Just tell me sashimi.
Darling, my god, I haven't had sashimi in months.
Same here.
Something only good fresh. You can't order it on DoorDash.
Do you want to face off with her, Seth?
Yeah, I'd love to. Would that be, I guess, a finesse now that I have a weapon?
Well,
I haven't
probably
really had a weapon before.
it could be finesse or brawl, depending on exactly what you're trying to do with it. But let me go ahead and describe. You slide open the door and step forward. She's standing there, covered in leather gear. Looks like it offered just the tiniest bit of protection from sword blows. She's choking and gasping, but she's standing with her katana in a stance that really shows you that she knows what she's doing.
Does she really, if she's standing against us?
And she has a look in her eyes that you have quite literally never seen before. You can't tell if it's the most insane determination or if there's actually something supernatural going on. But there is definitely something unusual about her.
Okay.
And then you
And
can
this
decide
is
what you're
why
doing.
I don't trust the religious.
She has true faith.
One can never know whether it's madness or faith.
Or the Fae.
Yeah, there is no difference, functionally.
Alrighty, well, I guess I will attempt to.
We lost your audio for a second there.
I said
What
I'll
are you
attempt to brawl with
attempting,
her.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna say she matches you all on tier but she probably has you in skill level. So and quality of her katana is an upgrade from you guys's. So I'm gonna say that's reduced.
Lose a katana.
Okay. I will.
And what are you trying to do to her?
I ideally want to, now that she's having difficulty breathing,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to lunge at her and attempt to push her to the ground and stab through her shoulder and pin her to the floor.
Okay. A pin.
Yeah,
Sounds
like
good.
thumbtack her essentially to the floor.
Sure. I think finesse or brawl, your choice. Both of those would work equally well.
Okay. I will do brawl just because I'm behind.
Okay.
And I'm kind of lunging at her.
Sure.
I imagine that Seth is more of a brawler.
Partial success at a 5.
Okay. I'm gonna say because she's so skilled.
I do have my split hand if you want to bring that into part of it.
Okay. So that was reduced effect to begin with because of her skill and her much more powerful fine katana. So that we're gonna say that reduces it to no effect. So you face off against her and you get your sword in the right position, but she bats it away with her katana. And when she does, yeah, that reopens the sort of split in your hand that you've been sort of shape shifting to keep closed. She reopens that wound, and but I'm not gonna say it causes any like additional damage. It's just enough to kind of put you back on your back foot rather than what you were trying to do. Nice. Sorry, reading chat because I can't help it when Morningstar writes hilarious things.
I must admit, my witticisms are more often than not text-based. I have absolutely no charm when it comes to talking.
So yeah, she kind of matches with you, and you kind of lock up with her, katana wise, and you end up sort of on your back foot, and she looks no worse for the wear.
Okay.
Well,
So
that
the
would
other
be
two of you,
quite stalemate if you didn't have two witches converging the location.
yeah. So the two of you are behind Seth, and can see everything that's happening here. The room that she's in now is much nicer than all the other rooms you've seen. This is definitely her like personal bedroom, and training room. There are some training dummies set up against a wall, and a
The furniture.
much nicer furniture.
Better than the stuff we have at home, or
Um, yeah, it looks like maybe since all the stuff that happened before, her taste, her refinement level has gone up a little bit. She's like, if I don't know how long I'm gonna live, I might as well live a little bit better than I was when I was just mistraining down there in the previous place. Yeah, it looks like her maybe sense of personal style has got an upgrade since the last time you saw her.
well, perhaps we should abscond with a few of these pieces.
Elise, you
But for
can't take the
now,
furniture and this massive man. You have to pick
we
one.
need to take them on. My God, he's useless. He has no willpower. He's pathetic. But Trinity, we could take her things after we kill her, or
We take her.
we take her. Since I'm walking into the room as Seth and Trinity are engaged in this deeply dramatic katana battle, I would like to walk past and just drag my gloved fingernails against her neck and make an attempt to physically take her over.
I think before you get a chance to take her over, touching her is going to take an action roll.
Right, what
Just
action would you say?
because she is armed and very skilled. Yeah.
It certainly makes sense. What action would you say is most likely in this situation?
I think the way you described it, that sounded like finesse to me. But
Alright.
I'm willing to listen to argument.
I
if
think
there's
that is the most sensible thing, as certainly I'm not intending to approach her aggressively.
Can I give an assist and kind of be a distraction?
Yeah, as long as Elise is cool with that, I think that makes sense.
Oh, well, too many distractions.
Yeah, what does that look like?
Since I have taken to being an ankle biter lately, I'm going to full on start growling at her like an animal. And yeah, start lunging at her like I'm gonna bite her.
Okay. She yells, "Demons, all of you!" And
Yes.
She's
right.
not
Hollis,
wrong.
Hollis is just making cat noises this whole time as well.
Growling like an angry cat, yeah. Hissing.
All right.
Sticks with a card.
Do you want to go ahead and make that finesse roll with one extra die?
Yes. Okay. Apologies, I seem to have buggered that up. It's a complete success. It's just 6.
Okay. You think with all the distractions, it goes exactly the way you described it. you pluck off your glove and reach for her neck or graze her neck.
So whoever finds this sees that red silk glove that was present at Riker's prison.
Ooh.
And
Oh,
now you
Lord.
can make the physical takeover roll.
Oh yes, I must do that as well. My goodness. And that is, give me just one moment. I forget
Yeah.
what that is. Is that a focus?
I think that might be focus.
For some reason, the PDF isn't coming up. Yes, yes, that is focus. That is a partial success.
Okay. Did you end up taking Psychic Impulse as well?
I have not yet. It is my priority currently, but
Okay.
no.
Well, there is like a little bonus that it gives you, which is you get to ask like, what kind of mind am I touching? I'm just gonna give you that one this time.
I thought that was my grandpa power.
There's something wrong with her mind. You have touched the mind and body of something that you have not touched before. It's not fully human.
Audiences.
It's not really registering as Fae or anything like that either. It is unusual. But the spell goes off otherwise with only one minor hitch, which we'll figure out. So what do you want to do with her?
I want her to get on her knees
Okay.
before Hollis.
Okay. So her mind is still completely hers, but her body is completely under your control. So your body collapses to the ground and you completely take over her physically. And then you drop her to her knees. Let's see. Trying to think of the minor complication. Her body is twitching in a way that's unusual.
On twitch.tv
The
/ Balsamic Games.
this physical possession brought to you by Twitch.tv.
Very smooth.
I do keep them twitching, darling.
Yeah, her body starts twitching physically in a way that is not in your control. So there's something else in her body too. So you're like, it's getting crowded in here. Something is physically trying to something is physically trying to take control of her body. And it's trying to force you out. So I think you're only going to get one more action in her body before it takes back over.
Is there resistance to that? Or, I mean, in truth, I only want to. In truth, the resistance does not matter. I dip my head before the goblin with the katana.
Okay. Hollis?
I'm trying to decide if she's still traumatized enough from having all of the dead girls in her brain that she would try to chop this lady's head off, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll pick up the katana and I'm gonna look at Seth and be like, should I do it?
I'm going to sweeten that deal just a hair. Because of what happened, I'm going to give you 4 free. I'm going to instead of a 10 clock to learn everything you can from these spirits, it will drop down to being a 6 clock if you kill her. Because you will appease so many of the spirits, they'll be willing to tell you anything.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that that's necessarily the best option, but I think it would make a lot of sense. So, what say you, Seth? You are mentally, telepathically connected to Hollis, and you hear her kind of crying out. And also, I'm sure you both hear um, uh, Elise saying, "I can't hold this body much longer." So it's coming to a head.
Probably in a more diminutive tone. You know, she's a very nasty person.
I mean, I have a katana and Hollis has a katana.
Yeah.
Could just stab both her hands since she's kneeling on the ground.
That was my thought. I was like, let's chop her hands off. Then she will never wield a katana ever again.
Yeah, she can't hurt anybody.
I think that is the least of our concerns, but it is a good start.
It's punishment.
Is that the move?
And then we'll drag her
there's
back to our
something
cell.
going on with her that it's very curious. So she's not herself. There's something else there. Interesting.
Yeah,
So
I
we
kind of
just
want to
hack
know
her head
what
off,
else
it's
is
like-
in there.
If we debilitate her, I'm certain I could reach in deeply and find out what's wrong with her. Really, on my heart, I'm a psychiatrist.
Well, good. Let's chop her hands off and we'll take her home, and you have all the time in the world to probe her brain.
All
sounds
right.
good.
We're going to consider that an automatic 6 for that, because she is currently being physically controlled for this final action. I don't think there's going to be any resistance, and the katanas are definitely sharp enough. So off go her hands. And then Elise loses control of her, and she holds up her stumps and screams as blood starts flowing out of them, and then skin starts to close over the wounds on both
This is
of her
a
arms.
fun evening. My goodness, I get to manipulate someone that didn't even die horribly.
And she screams, and one of her teeth goes flying out of her mouth as you see like her eyes turn red and the veins in her head start to fill with blood, and she collapses onto the ground.
Oh, boy.
Grab that tooth.
We
It's
don't
a
need all
bone,
her
I have to have
bones,
it.
darling.
It's a bone, and I love bones. All right, you have the tooth.
Is she dead?
Judging by the fact that the wounds on her arms are closing very quickly, I'm going to say no.
All right.
She does seem to have passed out.
Let's drag her home and get home quickly so the red watch doesn't catch me.
Sound
I
good? End of the
admit-
undertaking? Anything else you want to take?
Well,
I'll
we
grab a few more
freed all of
supplies
the
on the way out.
poor minimum wage workers from the imperiousness of the terrible Trinity.
Do you
So
want
what
to
else is there to do?
do you want to try to figure out like who would be the most amenable to your commanding out of the group?
I do like that idea.
Do you want to pick one to bring home to be a nanny for when we're out?
Well, we haven't killed Trinity.
And the one that
She could be amenable. My apologies. To
who was
our
the other?
purposes.
I don't think I told you. Oh, Liana. Basically,
Yeah.
you see that a lot of the other women, the lower tier of women, have left, but Liana is kind of still waiting behind. So I think she'd be a good candidate.
She's still crisscross applesauce on the bed.
Oh no, she left the room and was helping you guys do things, but she was the one that got knocked out by the person who went to tell.
Okay.
We could assure her that we are paying 20% more than the minimum wage.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys will get a lot more about how they were getting paid from her later. But yeah, if anybody likes the whole Reign of Blood thing, Tokyo Gore Police or Dracula Girl versus Frankenstein Girl, they're both Japanese movies.
Yeah.
Very Reign of Bloody.
I just
Okay.
realized, is
Reign
that
of
event
Bloody.
still not up anymore? There was like the points for another undertaking. Did that not go this session?
Pardon?
In the chat, there was a point system last time for a possible undertaking we could take that we were raising points for. I don't see it. I think I can
Oh,
I don't remember. Oh, yeah, we can definitely look at that after
we finished the Scarlet Incantation Cloak. Or
Incarnation.
Goodness. Mea culpa. Incarnation, yes. The Scarlet Incarnation Clock. We have finished that, I believe.
To learn about blood magic. Yeah. They're going to be
Maybe
sending an expert
about
over.
blood magic.
So is that the end of the undertaking? You're going to take Liana back with you as well as the unconscious body of Trinity?
Yes.
There's nothing more delicious than taking back the unconscious body of your enemy. She's
I
the
think-
puppet to us from here on in.
Yeah, I think going out of here with one body and one other person, I think that should probably require a prowl or something, since there's so
We've
much
got the
blood.
truck in the basement.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Yeah, if you want to
You
take
guys
the
are having a great lunch while this is happening.
Oh yeah. They
They
avoided
come
all
back
of
and
it.
you're like, oh crap, what happened?
They're like, Raul, you're the best. Or what was the name?
Raj.
Raj, you're the best. You saved our butts.
We high five them as we leave, and they're just like, what happened?
For the rest of their life, for some miracle, they've experienced equidescence with the rest of their peers.
Yeah, the undertaking ends with the high five and freeze frames on the high five, and then you drive the truck back to the docks and take the your boat back to your coven stead. Oh, everybody
Don't
safe?
mind that, darling. My goodness, there's so many lights here.
All right, who wants to do drawing down the moon so we can get your the red watch off your tail?
I guess I could do it since I'm the red watch draw.
Sounds good.
It's your birthday. Do something special.
So, yes, in the graveyard, Hollis is going to put out the skulls. She's collected a few of them on the way out. So she's got like 3
Okay.
skulls, and she's going to put them in a circle in her graveyard. She'll give them a proper like burial at some point. Or I'll just start a mausoleum in the cave that we
Ooh.
have with all the glowing moss.
Mm-hmm.
That could be fun. But yeah, I'll put them out under the moon. Yeah, and have everybody sit kind of equidistant around the skulls, and we're all in a circle. And Hollis stands up in the middle and just kind of cries out for all of the girls that died at that terrible place. Just a big feral goblin scream, and calls down the moon. And what's the roll?
That would be Covenanter.
Covenanter. So we're at 2, right?
Yep.
And is there a modifier to put on it?
DDTM.
DD. Let's see. I got a 2. So not great. Everybody gets 2 essence and 1
Generally
willpower.
not great.
Anya, you share a birthday with one of our viewers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Rosalia Naomi.
Nice.
Awesome.
I
Oh, I'm
think
gonna
that's
give
worth an
increased
extra tool.
Yeah, I'm gonna give increased effect on that because the like spirits that are like draining out of you, that like it forms kind of like a spiritual lens,
Okay.
and it just draws more moon energy down on you. So that's going to be 4 essence, 2 willpower.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Rosalia!
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Beautiful, the 2 of you share a birthday. My goodness.
Very cool.
I feel as if I should provide some boon. I'm not going to, but happy birthday.
Rather than it being a 10 clock that we were talking about, let's make it an 8 clock because you kind of split the difference. You didn't
Okay.
Yeah, that's
decimate her
cool.
outright, but you did cut off her hands and imprison her. So I'm going to say that still helped.
Okay. I'm sorry,
In
how much
truth,
willpower
that
did you
seems
say?
worse than imprisonment.
How much what?
How much willpower did you say?
2 willpower, 4 essence
Okay.
for everybody.
Oh, essence, my goodness.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome. Okay. And yeah, that the Red Watch had just gotten aboard their boats. Were like just about to start making their way to who knows where when the wild magic dissipated right in front of them, and they're like,
Dang
"Shit."
Not again.
Yeah,
Must have been nothing.
but I think they're
We
starting
are
to
going
like.
to become quite frustrated with us, I imagine.
Yeah, I think they're starting to be like, whoever this is like an epidemic of wild magic. It's definitely their Covenstead is definitely not on the mainland. So they're starting to put 2 and 2 together a little bit.
My goodness, how terrible that this fact should equal to us in level. Is beginning to realize that they don't bloody have a handle on us.
Hi, we have somebody with a Fey name in chat now. Hello, Fey. Yeah, that's a name I can't pronounce. But it's nice to see you. Okay,
Baby Konchenko.
nice. Favorite.
I didn't do it necessarily correctly, but I did it.
All right. So, as
Favorite.
far as
Perfect.
reputation and fate go for this one, for fate, I'm gonna say that was contained standard exposure. Despite all the death and everything happened in one building.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say 1 fate.
Okay, good.
But 1 extra fate because you abducted the high-profile target,
Okay, well that fills us up again.
Trinity. Okay,
Yeah,
so
you
that
would have
takes you
put an
to
extra fate for killing her anyhow, so
what level of infamy?
That'll make us 3.
Nice.
just 3.
Yeah,
And
I
yet
know.
I had hoped that we had somehow reached a level of infamy that all would quake in our presence.
It caps at 5, so
So I suppose all would quake in our presence is a
Yeah.
bit
yeah.
painful.
And for reputation, you said you left a calling card, the glove.
yes, darling, I always leave a glove. Whisper weaves these most divine silk. So,
Nice.
there's no reason not to drop one when we're present in the moment.
We're going to gain 4 reputation.
Nice.
All right. And if you all want to take any downtime actions or start any clocks for long-term projects, I know Seth has a artifact that they want to start designing.
Yes. I have my 7 hagstones of different shapes and colors that I got from the museum, and I would like to attempt to make them into an artifact to see the shadow.
Awesome. Okay, crafting an artifact. And what tier did we decide those hagstones were, or the highest of them? Thinking it was tier 3.
I did not write that on my sheet.
Okay. I think it was tier
I don't
3.
think we had anything higher than 3, though. I think
That
they were
was
like
the
one of the lesser
case.
things that was there.
Yeah.
I think everything was quite substantial when we were there. It's just that our time was limited, so we grabbed everything we could. And in this instance, it was hagstones.
Oh, shit.
Did you drop some
I launched my keyboard again. It's okay.
Ah,
Oh no.
Substance was spilled all out the room.
I'm just getting the little questionnaire for building a artifact. So I can ask you the right questions. Page 101.
My goodness, darling.
This
What
is
a perfect page to land upon.
yeah, this is in the full book that's not out yet, but okay.
So, there it is, darlings. You need to acquire the full book so that you can fully appreciate page 101.
Okay, artifact design questions. To design an artifact, you need to study it as a long-term project with a clock determined by the quality. So if this ends up being a tier 3 artifact, then that would be a 8 clock. Certain grimoire or general powers allow PCs to learn or design one when they take this ability. They should still go through the following questions. What type of creation is it, and what does it do? So we know that it's a hagstone-based creation, and what it does is allows you to peer through into the shadow world. Does it allow you to affect the shadow world at all? Can you use it to generate like a portal? Or does it just allow you to view?
I didn't even consider. I did not realize that was something we could do.
Yeah.
Would that change the
You can do anything
Here
through
or the
wild
book?
magic, darling.
I think tier 3 would be enough to create like a personal portal, or to allow people to like communicate through it, so you could like communicate with spirits rather than just being able to view it. So
Okay,
you could have like two-way communication
got
with
it.
spirits.
Okay, if
if
that is within the means of tier 3, I'd like to go that route.
I think a portal could work. We would just have to give it some drawbacks to bring it back down to 3. There's a portal that any of you could go through, not just the person who creates it, would probably be like a tier 5. But if we did 2 levels of drawbacks, that wrenches it back to 3.
Okay.
So, so we can sort of decide on that. Then the player asks, "What's the minimum?" I think I jumped ahead. What's the minimum quality level of the item? The GM answers with the magnitude and the effect. So 5 or 3, depending on what you want it to do. What rare, strange, or adverse aspect of this formula has kept it in obscurity and out of common usage? I just to put something out there, I think the fact that it requires this powerful hagstone as a base material.
Not just one powerful hagstone, but
Yeah.
7.
Maybe
Uh,
it's volatile.
Okay. Maybe it attracts shadow spirits.
That could actually be good because I currently have haunted as one of my traumas. So I
Yeah.
like that idea.
Okay.
Maybe I just
So
occasionally get PTSD.
So it requires a hagstone of a certain magnitude, which is hard to find in and of itself, and additionally, it draws the attention of shadow spirits. So we can add other drawbacks to it, but I think that's a good start.
Okay.
And then the player asks, "What other drawbacks should this item have, if any, for the GM to add on?" But I think if we do those things, then that's probably good enough to bring it down to a 3. Once you've completed this design, you can craft the item using downtime activities. No one else can craft the item unless they learn this design from you or make their own design as a long-term project. If you acquire a design from another witch, you can learn it by creating another long-term project. So basically, this is your item. It is unique for your character. So
Okay.
And then artifacts may have drawbacks, 1 or more drawbacks. They can be nearly anything that might cause trouble, like a bright light or a loud noise that accompanies their activation, conditions that must be met before activation, adding fate or fey bargain ticks to your character or the coven. If there's one saving grace to artifact drawbacks, it's that they're generally predictable. So you will know what's going to happen before you use it. So some other ones that we could consider are complex, that the item takes additional stages of downtime activities. I don't think that's necessary since you're starting with the hagstones. Conspicuous, that means that it draws the attention of the fates or the fae whenever you use it. That's another one we could do. I think drawing the attention of spirits counts in the same way as conspicuous. Consumable, that means the artifact can only be used a certain number of times. I think for a hagstone, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Grimoire locked, that's only people of your grimoire since you created it can use it. But I don't think that really makes sense for a shifter. So it probably shouldn't be grimoire locked. An unreliable duration. Whenever you activate it, we make a fortune roll to see how long the artifact remains active. That could be interesting. And then the last one is volatile. The item produces a dangerous or troublesome side effect, which may be resisted. So that's kind of what we're doing with the spirit thing.
Okay.
So
yeah,
anyway.
I like the spirit one, I think, the most. Spirit one, and then like the fortune roll for how long it lasts. I like those.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we can do that. It'll basically be a tier 5 artifact with 2 levels of drawbacks. so it makes it a tier 3.
Okay.
Super. That sounds good. And that's going to be a 4, 6, 8. That's going to be an 8 clock to do
Okay.
the design, and then another 8 clock to actually build it once you've designed it. So, and then you'll have it forever, unless somebody steals it.
Someone's
I may just heal it.
Get your grubby little hands off it. It doesn't even exist yet. You can't have it.
Grubby, darling, my hands are absolutely encased in silk.
So the first 8 clock is usually study rolls, and then the second 8 clock is craft rolls.
Okay.
So, all right. So, anybody else have any ideas for downtime actions? Get 2 each.
We can use one of mine for the telepathy. So we can do
Telepathic, the ritual. Sounds good. Awesome. That no longer costs essence. We've revised the costs. That we figured the downtime action was enough. So there are no essence costs, even with the teleportation one.
Alrighty.
Right.
So do
So
I
you
do
can make
one
a-
roll for one of my study rolls now,
Yep.
I guess?
And you, if you'd like to bring in your coven contact to help you with the study roll, they can give you a +1 die.
Okay.
That's only if you trust them enough.
I should think at this point you trust Quinn enough.
So I'll trust Gwyn. That'll give me 4 blips for study. So how do
Nice.
I because this is a downtime, do I have to put any special characters with it?
Yeah.
So and DDTM?
Just F.
Just F? Okay.
Yeah.
Fortune roll, mixed results, 5. So partial effect or 2 ticks out of 5.
Yeah, two ticks.
Okay.
So you are a quarter of your way to fully designing the item.
Yay. Alrighty. Lise and Hollis. All mine are done. You guys are up.
I know.
Does that mean we are supposed to focus ourselves on designing your artifact, darling?
No, it's my individual artifact if you were listening. You have your own downtime actions.
I know
Yeah.
Hollis was really close to a level up in insight. So, do you want to do a training on that
Yeah.
to get your last? Okay. What does that look like? Introspection?
No, it's not insight that I was
Oh.
with. It's resolve.
Oh, okay.
I guess a resolve training.
Okay.
Since I'm trying to get another command dot to go along with my fearsome omens.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to
I think of who I can practice being scary at.
you have a
You
person
can
in your
practice at me, darling. I'm terribly scary.
You also have Trinity in the dungeon.
It's
Just-
true.
Torture her for a while with being scary and fearsome.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Cool. Do you also want to start a long-term project to like break her and get some information out of her, or maybe that's more of an Elise thing?
I think that's more of an Elise thing. I was thinking I would roll on that learning about the laundry clock.
Okay. Sounds good. What do you want to use for that? Study or
Yeah, I guess study. I guess I don't know. Since I'm kind of trying to learn through the spirits and not like learn through books necessarily, I think a focus roll would make more
Yeah,
sense.
I like that.
Okay. Then I just do a standard focus roll
With an F
with an F. Okay.
for fortune.
I got a 6. So I
Oh,
get
awesome.
5 ticks.
Nice.
Darling,
Exceptional
you
result.
got an exceptional result. You got a critical.
Got two
Oh, I did.
sixes.
Oh,
I did. I got 2 6s.
wow. 5
I
ticks.
always miss when I roll critical when I do a criticals.
Thankfully, I have an
birthday.
eye for such things.
5
Thank you.
ticks on a 8 clock, so all you need is a 6 on your next roll to
Sweet.
get to finish off your clock.
All right, that's me done then.
Okay.
Mm.
And Elise?
Elise, my goodness. Well, I must admit, I am tempted to spend each moment just pounding into Trinity.
Praise
Yeah.
the
Surely
game.
make them suffer, but if we are considering our downtime, well, it might be best spent. Well, who knows? You know what? It might be best to abuse her. You know what? A bit of abuse never did any harm.
Breaking Trinity, I think, would be like a 6 clock.
Then we shall start a 6 o'clock.
All right.
And what will we be rolling to break Trinity?
That's very much up to you.
I should imagine I would be breaking her with my sheer willpower. And by that, of course, I mean punching her in the face.
Okay.
I would be forcing her to submit to our power.
Okay.
Not mine, but ours.
Is that a brawl?
Well, I could try a brawl. Goodness knows it wouldn't end well, but we might as well try it.
I mean, I can absolutely see any other avenue.
We shall start with a brawl.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Break her down physically before you start breaking her down mentally.
It's a failure.
So that's
There's
one
one-
tick on the clock.
Okay,
She seems to recover her wounds really quickly, so I think it makes
yeah.
sense that it doesn't have as much of an effect on her, but it did have some effect.
Mm. So we knew by some means beyond our own that Trinity is recovering her power.
To a degree, she's recovering from her wounds, but she's not like growing back hands or anything. But she is recovering from her wounds that you inflict on her pretty
A
quickly.
hand. Completely.
Do you want
What'd you
to?
say? Morningstar, what did you say?
I said I shall chop off her hand.
Both of her hands are already off.
All of her hands off.
I think Elise has indulged a little too much tonight, everyone.
Ooh, you know what? This was mostly full when I started.
Wow, that is significant.
Yeah.
And this is about 50% alcohol, so. Well, I shall just plunge her in the gut, you know what? Whatever it takes to make everything else easier for everyone else.
That's your downtime action?
Yes, I'm going to punch her in the stomach.
So, yep,
So
you already did.
you...
You want to do that a second time? Because you already did it once.
No,
Okay.
no, for the second time, for my proper downtime, I would very much like to take a moment to myself and recover my will, my eagerness for being. The very desire from which I managed to function. So my willpower.
All right. Roll the lower of your resolve or insight.
Right. And is that with an R or just
F.
straightforward? F. I see. It is a good result.
Is that
With a
2?
6, my goodness.
Is that 2 or 3?
It says a
times.
full bolt. Sorry, a full effect. Or 6 result. 6
3
ticks,
ticks.
rather.
3, yes.
Okay, so you can refill in 3 willpower. Or unfill 3 willpower.
Mm. Goodness, then I'll be at equal fitting with everyone else.
Nice. And I think at this point, since we were thinking about doing the zoo heist as the next one, seeing as we're not going to need to save anyone from prison, do you want to do some kind of gather information to see what you can learn before the next session?
I think Elise has something they want to learn specifically.
Oh, really?
Well, it is true, but I have expended, I believe.
Yeah, these
all
don't
my
take downtime actions. These are freebies.
But I would quite like to know what the sovereign's favorite animal is.
Whose favorite animal?
The
The
sovereign
sovereign.
Oh,
the order owns the zoo, right? So Elise
Hmm.
wants to know what his favorite.
That's interesting. Do you have an idea? Because I don't have anything popping to mind immediately.
The focus, darling.
Okay. Let's see. I think gorillas, because they have such human features and everything, like silverbacks. But there's probably
One might
also
expect that of a saint.
some smaller animal that they also like. I'll give that some thought between sessions. Yeah, good question.
Something small and poisonous.
Ooh, yeah. Some kind of viper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Go with the Kill Bill theme from this episode and make it a black mamba. All right. Well, I think we will. I think we can call it here and sign off for the evening. Next session, we are going to have a Zale one back, most likely, and do the zoo heist. So we will be back on the 11th for session 17. So if we'd like, real quick, we can go back around the room and everybody can tell us where we can tell everybody where they can find us. That makes way more sense. So Lilith.
Hi, I'm the editor and photographer for all the Morningstar content. I don't have anything on my personal accounts, so anything you can find my work on all the Morningstar platforms.
Morningstar?
Well, with the new year starting, we are wholeheartedly invested in producing even more content for the Morningstar platforms. So I wholeheartedly encourage you to check out either _Cytherian at Instagram or Twitter, or the Cytherian at Facebook, and you will find the most delectable content possible.
I think
Because
we're
I
going
do
to see.
pride myself on being delectable.
Can agree. That is what you will find.
Mm.
Anya?
Um, I guess the easiest place to find me would be on Twitter. I am Anya Timur there. Yeah, and I wanted to thank everybody who reached out and said happy birthday to me today. I really appreciate it. It has been an interesting day, and that helped me get through it. So thank you so much.
Yep. All right, and I'm Gavin. I'm Gavin the GM on Twitter. We have a Patreon, Balsamic Games. We have Balsamic Games on Twitter, and Midnight Kith, which is our Children of Midnight Twitter handle. The official name of Children of Midnight is changing to Children of Midnight Coven. So everything will be updated with that verbiage very soon. And we have a merch store, shop.balsamicmoongames.com, that you can find as well. And I'm actually wearing some exclusive merch. This is about to change, so you have about one more week before we change the logo. So if you want a
Wow.
Children of Midnight, Nightsky Sanctum is what it says on the back. It has our logo for this coven. That logo is also about to change next week. It's going to become purple. So if you want the black and red Children of Midnight, Nightsky Sanctum logo, this is the last week to get it. So shop.balsamicmoongames.com. And otherwise, I think we'll have Itty Bitty Kitty Committee coming back on Thursday, which is another coven that's also playing Children of Midnight Coven. So feel free to come and join us on the same channel here in 2 days. And otherwise, we'll see you next week.
Same
And,
bat time, same bat channel.
A little bit earlier next week.
yeah. And you all have an awesome night, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye.